Hello and welcome back to my blog, My Fat Bum. Today we're going to be making some cloud bread. Now cloud bread is something I come across about 4 months ago, and it's a really lovely alternative to bread. I was really sceptical when I first tried it because I thought it's going to taste really eggy like an omelette, but it doesn't. It tastes like bread, which is really strange. It's a carbohydrate free option, but it's also a sin-free option in the Slimming World meal plan. So I've started off here. I'm just frying off gently some garlic and some onion. It's very roughly chopped, small amount of onion and some garlic. I like to add this to my cloud bread because I like the taste, but you can do it as a basic recipe and not add anything at all. But as long as you've got that basic recipe, you can add pretty much what you like to it. So I've just fried it off in some olive oil flavour fry light, which is sin-free. So I've just got that on a low heat and I'm going to get that going whilst I prepare the egg mixture. So in here I've used 3 eggs. And I use Tesco free range eggs, and these are large, but you don't have to use large, just experiment, and maybe 4 mediums. I've got my egg whites, which I've just started a bit to whisk up so I don't torture you too much with the whisk. And I've got some egg yolks, which I've separated out. You'll need these as well for the dish, you're going to fold those in later. Now, a lot of people worry about having the right kit for in the kitchen, but this is actually a whisk that I purchased from, I think it was British Heart Foundation electrical store, and I think it was about £4, but they're probably about £12 or something around that mark, but it's good to recycle. So really really handy and easy to have in the kitchen, and easy to get hold of. It's easy to use, easy to get hold of. I'll get it right in a minute, but I'm going to whisk up some egg whites to get this dish moving, and the garlic and onion will carry on just gently cooking on the hob. It's really turned right down low. I preheated the oven to 140 degrees for our cloud bread, and you're looking to make about 6 rounds, which will be enough for 3 sandwiches. Okay, so I'm going to get that on the go now. I'll just do some whisking over here so it's not too loud for the camera, hopefully. So I'm just going to whisk this into peaks, so you need to carry on and just make sure it's a nice clean bowl and you haven't got any contaminants, no egg yolk, no shell, anything like that, to make sure you get these egg whites nice and peaky. Okay? Just carry on giving this a stir on here, making sure it's not getting too brown. You don't want it to have a bitter flavour. Just a nice addition to the dish. So it's coming together now. Nearly there, a little bit longer. This dish is really lovely when it's cool with smoked salmon and cream cheese. It's a really lovely afternoon snack. I just made a little bit of a tweak, a little bit of a peek in there to show you how thick you're looking at them, so I can tip them, and they're absolutely fine. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mix some bits and pieces into here. So in this bowl I need a teaspoon of baking powder, which has disappeared. I found these really cool sachets in, where are they from? Sainsbury's, because I found they have things like baking powder, corn flour, all sorts of things in my cupboard, and then I look at the date when I go to use it, it's like a year old. So these are individual sachets that you can buy, not very expensive, and you can just use one sachet or part of one sachet when you need it. So I need a teaspoon of this, so that is the quantity of 3 large eggs. I'm going to have a teaspoonful of baking powder, and I've got these little handy spoons which I've showed you before, little measuring spoons, so they're great. So make sure you're using a level teaspoon for your dish. Just spilt most of that in there. Right, that's about right. A level teaspoon of that. You're going to have approximately pinch of salt. You do need seasoning in this because it can taste a little bit bland if you don't. And then I'm going to have some nice herbs, and these are an Italian mixed seasoning. I love herbs, so I'm just going to chuck quite a lot in there. So you can see there's quite a large quantity of herbs in there. This is an Italian seasoning blend. You can buy these in Sainsbury's or Tesco's or most sort of supermarket shops. Okay, and then to that as well, you need a tablespoon, sorry, of artificial sweetener. We've just moved over to Steva. We're experimenting a bit with our artificial sweetener to see what we like in coffees and on blueberries and things like that, and strawberries. See what we can have that actually gives it quite a nice taste. And this hasn't got any aspartamines in, so we're sort of trying to experiment with having that. So you need a tablespoon of artificial sweetener in there. So that goes in the pot. And then you need 200 grams of some form of cream cheese. Now this is 180 gram pot. This is Philadelphia Light. There's also the other option, which is Philadelphia Light. Now I'll look up the sin values of those later. So I'm going to use the entire 180 grams in this pot. And I know I've got a little bit left in that pot from another dish that I made. So that's going to get mixed into this egg mixture. And then what we're going to be doing in a minute is we're going to be folding as gently as we can this mixture into the egg whites to maintain as much air as we possibly can. So I've just got a little bit extra in there. Estimated the extra 20 grams. Okay, move some of this out of the way. So it's going to get a fork, and I'm going to slowly start to incorporate these ingredients together into one mixture. And then what I'm going to do then is fold this into the cloud bread. It feels like a bit of a faff to make this, but actually once you made it, you can keep these cloud breads either in the fridge already made up of sandwiches, or you know, if you've got a few people coming around for lunch, it's actually a really lovely thing to make someone some fresh cloud bread with a lovely filling. As I say, the salmon and cream cheese is yum, yum, yum. Okay, so we've got that mixture there. Now I'm just going to use something like this, something quite flat, so it'll help me to fold the mixture in. You see it's gone quite nice and creamy, so it will help make it easier to fold in. Okay, so I'm just going to put bits in at a time, not going to overdo it. And you're looking to try and just very gently pick the mixture up and turn it over. It doesn't need to be a massive sort of, you don't want to be stirring the mixture hard, which will be knocking all the air out of the mixture. Cloud bread does tend to go flat in the oven. It will look like it's getting really nice and puffy, like a meringue, and then it does go flat, but don't worry about that. That's how it's meant to look. And a lot of people say, oh, I can't get my cloud bread fluffy. That's not how it goes. It does actually come out the way. You've done nothing wrong. Okay, so I'm just going to put the rest of that mixture in there and try and incorporate that in as much as I can without destroying all the air in there. I'm no expert at this, but I'm sure other people are much better. And then once this is done, I've got a flat baking tray, and I'm going to, a lot of people use fry light directly onto the tray, but I'm not brave enough to try that. So I'm going to put a sheet of baking paper onto the tray and blob these directly onto some fry light that's on the baking paper, so I don't get in a muddle. So that's done. You don't want to overwork that at all. So now I'm going to get a good sized spoon, if I can find one. Something like this is quite nice, because you can do sort of one portion in one fell swoop, not faff around with it too much. So what I've got here is a nice flat baking tray. And I'm going to put the grease paper on the top. It's floating around a bit at the moment, so I'm just going to put it underneath to help hold that greaseproof paper down. As long as I don't want to be doing is sliding a whole lot off onto the floor. Okay, so you should be looking to create about 6 portions with this. I don't know if you can see that there, can you? So you've got, just spread them out on the tray, make them into a nice pile, like that. These will spread out, but they tend to separate quite nicely. So the middle looks a bit weird, looks like some sort of strange dinosaur. I'm trying to make them of equal size. And then I'm going to get my garlic and onions, that's what they're called, onions. And I'm just going to sprinkle a few of these onto the top of each one. Pick them up. So I'm just going to sprinkle a few onto the top of each one. A mixture of both garlic. Let's try this way, might get a better result. Mixture of garlic and onions in there. Just gives it a really nice tang. And what you end up is a really tasty dish. Okay? Now what I tend to do is I've just saved a little bit in the bottom of this bowl, and I'm just going to go over the garlic and onions and just dab it in a bit, because I find that if you don't, what tends to happen is they can burn off a little bit, those, and it can make a little bit for a bitter taste, but you just sort of, by doing that really gently, you're just helping to incorporate, spread them out a bit as well. You're just helping to incorporate the flavour into the mixture. So when it's cooking, it will enrich the flavour of the actual bread as opposed to just sitting on top. Okay, now 2 of those have turned into 1, but it's okay because I'm going to pop these in the oven now and we'll see where we get to. Okay, just 1 second. Okay, so they're in the oven. They're going to stay in there for a good 20 minutes. And just keep an eye on them. You're looking for them to go slightly brown, and you're going to touch the top and just slightly see if they're firm enough to come out. And then when they do, I'll show you the finished result.